Hi there. Welcome to the Kessler Law Firm podcast. I'm Michael Kessler, and I've been a defense attorney here on Florida's Treasure Coast for a long time. I make it until next May. I will have been doing this for 40 years. I go all the way back to, my first case was in front of the last non-lawyer judge in Florida. You see, it seems that until the early 70s, Florida only had one level of trial courts. In about 1973, Florida divided the trial courts into circuit court, which handled serious cases, felonies, probate, family court, big civil suits, and county court, which handled misdemeanor cases and small claims court, things like that. Before this split, petty cases, less serious cases, could be handled by a justice of the peace, and a person didn't have to be a lawyer to be a justice of the peace. So I broke in May of 1985 in front of the late, great Eddie DeFriest, who was at that time the last non-lawyer judge. You see, when the legislature split trial levels into circuit and county, they grandfathered in as county court judges all of the then sitting justices of the peace. And it was my luck, coming here fresh out of school, that Eddie DeFriest was the last of the non-lawyer judges. I've seen an awful lot of changes in court over the years. I've tried cases that range anywhere from, my goodness, bar fights, disorderly conduct, DUI cases, up through rapes, robberies, and yes, capital homicides. But even though I've been a lawyer for a long time, and yes, I've seen all the lawyer TV shows and lawyer movies. I was brought up on Perry Mason, the original with Raymond Burr. I don't know how Hamilton Berger kept his job, since he seemed to lose every single case he prosecuted. I remember seeing a short-lived TV show called The Public Defenders. And of course, all the lawyer movies, and Justice for All, The Verdict, Chicago. Yeah, I've done my share of razzle dazzle, just like Richard Gere. My Cousin Vinny, Witness for the Prosecution, Jagged Edge. On TV, I've seen all of Rumpole of the Bailey stories. Rumpole's probably my favorite fictional lawyer. But I'll tell you, although I've been a lawyer for most of my life, I've been a baseball fan for even longer. I first became a serious baseball fan when my dad moved the family to the outskirts of Pittsburgh way back in 1969. I saw my beloved Pirates play at Old Forbes Field. You could almost hear and see Bill Mazeroski hitting that home run to beat the Yankees. That was the 1960 World Series, and it is still to this day the only time anybody's hit a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth of Game 7 of the World Series. And before you all start calling me and telling me about Joe Carter on the Toronto Blue Jays in 93, I have to remind you that Joe hit his in the bottom of the ninth of Game 6. Yes, it decided the World Series, but it wasn't Game 7. My favorite baseball trivia question is, who was playing left field for the Yankees when Maz hit the home run? Everybody guesses Mickey Mantle, but he was in center. Roger Maris was in right. Yeah, as you can expect from a lawyer, it's a trick question. The Yankees left fielder in the bottom of the ninth of Game 7 was none other than Yogi Berra. Yes, Yogi was primarily a catcher, but the Yankees wanted his bat and Elston Howard's bat both in the lineup. So Howard was behind the plate and Yogi was out and left. And it was poor Yogi who had to run back to the wall and look up and watch Maz's home run sail over the left field wall at Forbes Field. I was lucky enough to see Bill Mazeroski, and Roberto Clemente, my personal hero, and Willie Stargell. Willie used to hit tremendous home runs, but maybe more impressive were the infield pop-ups he hit. They would go so high that the Pirates play-by-play guy, Bob Prince, would pause for station identification while the ball was in the air. Bob Prince used to call those pop-ups a home run in an elevator shaft. Well, the reason I'm talking about all this today, although, we're nearing the 4th of July, and that means the All-Star game can't be far behind, is that we recently lost Willie Mays. Willie Mays is, for me, the greatest baseball player who ever lived. He was what they call a five-tool guy. He could hit for power, he could run fast, he could field, he could catch just about anything, and boy, could he throw. And I didn't want to let my podcasts go by without taking a minute to remind everybody just how great Willie Mays was. He made the All-Star team 24 times. He had more than a dozen gold gloves, 3,000 hits, and 660 home runs. Willie Mays could do it all, and we'll never see another one like him. I hope you've enjoyed my little trip down memory lane in court and in baseball. Thanks for joining me today on the Kessler Law Firm podcast. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on your favorite podcasting site, please click subscribe or follow so next time you come back, our latest podcasts will be ready and waiting for you. If you'd like to connect and find out more about us, visit our website at www.kesslerlawfirm.com. And don't forget to go out to the ballpark.